Dear students, today we are going to start the second chapter of Snapshots, whose title is The Address, and it is written by Marga Minko. This short story is a poignant account of a daughter who goes in search of her mother's belongings after the war in Holland. When she finds them, the objects evoke memories of her earlier life. However, she decides to leave them all behind and resolves to move on. So, the Second World War was going on at that time when the narrator had to leave her home, and when everything got settled, that time she comes back to her home, and then she wanted all the things belonged to her mother. But when she goes in search of those things, and when she sees those things, she decides to leave all the things back and resolves to move on in her life. When she reaches to a house and knocks at the door, a woman opens the door only little bit, and after looking at the narrator, refuses to recognize her. At first sight, even the narrator thought that maybe she has come at the wrong place. And as she was about to leave, that time all of a sudden she noticed that the lady was wearing a green knitted cardigan which actually belonged to her mother. She was able to identify the cardigan along with its wooden buttons which had gone pale because of continuous washing. This shows that the lady was continuously using her mother's cardigan. And then she tells the lady that she knew her mother. And then the lady says that she was actually shocked to see that narrator, because she believed that the narrator and her mother both must have died in the war, and she did not expect them to be back. So she had a great shock, and in shock she asks that, "Have you come back? I thought that no one had come back." And the narrator replies, "Only me," means her mother died in the war, only she survived. Then, after identifying also that lady did not show any interest in talking to her, whereas the narrator says that she wanted to talk to her for a little while, but the lady straightforward refuses and tells her that she was busy and also told her to come some other time. The narrator had no other choice than to leave the place and go. While going back to the railway station, she looks at the street side. But she actually didn't want to look at the street sides because that would evoke the past memories. And she wanted to be away from the past memories because in the past she had a kind and loving mother who was no more with her because of the after effects of war. Then she started thinking of her mother, and before leaving the house, she also noticed at the post there where a nameplate hung, and on that nameplate it was written number 46. Then she started recalling that once when she had come back to her own house. Maybe she was studying somewhere outside during the vacations. She had come and she notices that many of the things were missing in her house. And then she asks her mother. Even the mother had no idea that she will be able to identify that some things were missing. See, children, normally what all things are present in our house, we every day see those things and we become habitual of seeing them. So, in daily routine, we don't take any notice of those things. But if those things are removed from there, we will definitely come to know immediately at the first sight itself that something is missing from there. So same happened with the narrator, and the mother also was surprised and said that how come she noticed everything so quickly. And then she noticed a lady who was there talking to her mother. Then the mother introduced that lady to her daughter, that she was Mrs. Darling, and she had met Mrs. Darling for the first time. Then the narrator told that she was one of their acquaintances. And every time she leaves here, she takes something home with her, said her mother. So she had started visiting them regularly, and whenever she used to go, while going she used to take away some of the other thing from their house. She took all the table silver in one go. Table silver here means all the cutlery, the spoons, the forks which they were using, that was of silver, and she had taken all the cutlery in one time itself. Then she took the antique plates which were hung there in their room on the walls. She had taken those antique plates also, and some large vases she took along with them, along with her. She took the crockery also, and though it was very difficult for her to carry all the things because it was heavy, and the delicate items were also there which could get damaged if not handled properly. But the mother said that Mrs. Darling was taking away all the things in order to keep them safe at the time of war. And the mother knew that because of the war, their life was in danger, and at any moment they had to leave the house and go. And that time, in their absence, the things in the house were not safe, so it was better to keep them under somebody's custody and keep all the things safe. When the narrator asked the mother that has she allowed Mrs. Darling to keep all the things and use them, the mother did not give a straight answer, and she did not have the courage to ask the mother again about the same thing. And the mother also noticed that the narrator was not happy or convinced by the reply which she had given. So she tells the narrator about the address of Mrs. Darling, that she lives at number 46, and she also tells her to remember her in Marconi Street, number 46. That was the address of Mrs. Darling. And the narrator had remembered that address, but she had waited a long time to go there. In the beginning, she was hesitant in going there. Rather, she was afraid of it, because in the beginning, she felt that if she will go and see the things, she will not be able to have control on herself, and she will miss her mother more. So she did not want to immediately get the things back, and she was very much scared of the circumstances which she was facing because of the war. But later, when everything started becoming normal, then she started missing her mother. And because she was missing her mother, she thought that at least she could have the belongings of her mother and feel the presence of her mother. So she decided to go to Mrs. Darling at her address number 46 in Marconi Street. But the first visit to Mrs. Darling's house was futile, because Mrs. Darling did not attend her at all and told her to come some other time. So the next time when she went to her mother, to take her mother's belongings, Mrs. Darling was not at her house. In fact, her daughter was there, who took the narrator inside the house and told her to wait for some time till the mother comes. The narrator followed the girl along the passage, An old fashioned iron Hanukkah candle holder hung next to a mirror. Then she noticed a candle holder, and then she recalled that they never used it because it was much more cumbersome than a single candlestick. In order to carry the whole candle holder, to carry a candle was much easier. So they had never used that candle holder which was there in Mrs. Darling's house. Then the girl, Mrs. Darling's daughter, told her to sit there and asked for tea. Meanwhile, she looked all around and noticed so many things which belonged to them was present there in that house. And then the narrator says, I was in a room I knew and did not know. A room I knew because in that room, so many things which belonged to her were present. So she knew those things, she was able to identify those things, but she did not know that room because that house did not belong to her, and moreover the things were not used in a proper manner, not kept in a proper manner as they were in her own house. She found herself in the midst of things she did want to see again, but which oppressed her in the strange atmosphere. So she wanted to see all those things which belonged to her mother. But when she saw those things in strange atmosphere, she did not feel much happy about it. Rather, she felt upset. Or because of the tasteless way everything was arranged, because of the ugly furniture or the muggy smell that hung there, she didn't know, but she scarcely dared to look around. Now, the narrator did not want to look at those things. So she was not able to make out the reason behind it, whether it was that foul smell which was present there, which made her feel uncomfortable, or the things which were not arranged properly, not used properly, that made her feel upset. She was not able to decide. Meanwhile, the girl offered a chair and told her to sit down, and she stared at the woolen tablecloth. When she sat on the chair, she noticed that on the table there was a woolen tablecloth. She rubbed it and felt the warmth, and then followed the lines of the pattern. And then she recalled that there should be a burn mark that had never been repaired. And she was able to identify that burn mark, which proved that it was the same tablecloth which was there in their house. So it belonged to her. Then the girls told her that Mrs. Darling would be soon back, and meanwhile she can have a cup of tea. While making the cups ready at the tea table, she noticed that the girl had a broad back just like her mother. She poured tea from a white pot. All it had was a gold border on the lid. While looking at the teapot, she recalled that the teapot also was theirs. It had a golden border on the lid, on the cover, the teapot cover. She opened the box and took some spoons out. And when Mrs. Darling's daughter opened a box and took out the spoons, she recognized those silver spoons also. And then she heard her own voice. It was a strange voice, as though each sound was different in this room. So, though she did not want to say anything, but still she said that it was a nice box. And then Mrs. Darling's mother started telling her that Mrs. Darling used to tell her that it is antique. And she also told that they have so many antique things. She pointed round the room and told the narrator to look for herself, but the narrator knew which all antique things she was talking about, because actually each and every antique item was brought from the narrator's house only. So she says that there was no need to follow her hand because she knew about all the things. Then she just looked at the still life over the tea table, means the teapot, the teacup, the saucer, everything she noticed. And then she recalled the apple on the pewter plate, that when she was a small child, she wanted to eat that apple from the plate. Then Mrs. Darling's daughter said that, sorry, even this the narrator told Mrs. Darling's daughter that even she once wanted to eat that apple from the plate. Then, meanwhile, as her fingers were continuously in search of the burn mark, they were successful in finding it out. Then the narrator told her that we normally, it happens with all the people, that we get used to touching all the lovely things of our house, that we hardly make any notice of them. And then she says that we only notice the things when something is missing, because it has to be repaired or because you have lent it. For example, again, the narrator heard the unnatural sound of her voice, and then she went on swaying. She told that incident, how she came to know that the cutlery which they used was made of silver. One day, when she was sick and she was at home, that time her mother asked her to help in polishing the silver. That time, she asked her mother which silver she was talking about, and then her mother told her that the spoons, the forks, the knives which they used every day, they were of silver. So for the first time she came to know that the cutlery was made of silver. And then she also asked Mrs. Darling's daughter that she might also not be knowing that it was made of silver, and same happened with her. It was true that Mrs. Darling's daughter also did not know about the cutlery, that it was made of silver. Then, meanwhile, the narrator jumped up. She was forgetting the time. She said that she had to catch up the train. And then the daughter of Mrs. Darling asked that she wanted to meet the mother. Without meeting the mother, how could she go? But the narrator had decided firmly to leave the house without taking anything with her. And then, as she walked down the passage, she heard the jingling of spoons and forks, because Mrs. Darling's daughter was looking at the forks and spoons in order to find out and confirm that all the cutlery was made of silver. At the corner of the road, she looked up at the nameplate, Marconi Street, it said, and she had been at number 46. The address was correct, the same address which her mother had given her. But at that moment, she did not want to remember it anymore. She wanted to forget the address. She wouldn't go there. She says that she wouldn't go back there because the objects that are linked in her memory with the familiar life of former times instantly lose their value when severed from them, because she was away from those things for a longer period of time, so those things had lost their value. And one more reason is there, that you see them again in strange surroundings, because the things which belonged to her mother were not used in the same way as her mother used to use, that is, and she was away from all those things for a longer period of time. So because of both these reasons, she did not want to get those things back. And she also said that she was living in a small rented house where the shreds of blackout paper still hung along the windows. Now, shreds of blackout paper means, see, during a war, normally what happens that people are told to use black color paper on the doors and windows, so that if they use any light inside the house, that light should not emit outside the house, so that the enemy should not come to know that any human being is there, and they cannot cause any harm to the people living over there. And no more than a handful of cutlery fitted in the narrow table drawer. So she had very less space in order to keep all those things which belonged to her mother. So she resolved to forget the address. Of all the things she had to forget, what that would be the easiest. All the things she had to forget, she could not forget her past memories. The things which belonged to her mother, the things which she used as a child in her own house, she could not forget all those things. So she decided to forget the address, so that if she won't remember the address, she won't ever think of going to get the things of her mother back. Though there are chances that at times she might miss her mother so much that she would like to have the things back again. But if she doesn't know the address from where to get the things, she will never try to get the things back. So she decides not to ever remember that address, not to go to that place, and to forget to get the things back. So, this is the end of the chapter. I hope it is clear to you all.